Students at Harvard now want to set up kind of re-education camps and moral rehabilitation centers and institutions for vetting people who had the chutzpah to work in the Trump administration.
And the question is, how are we going to really almost deprogram these people who have signed up for the cult of Trump?
Experts say they see cult-like behavior.
We have, there are millions of Americans, almost all white, almost all Republicans, who somehow need to be deprogrammed. It's as if they are members of a cult, the Trumpist cult, and who have to be deprogrammed.
Because they've been brainwashed, Joy. I really believe that they have been brainwashed by this misinformation campaign.
So how do you de-radicalize these people? Joining us now is Steven Hassan. He's a mental health professional who has been helping deprogram people out of cults for decades. He's also the author of The Cult of Trump. There are millions of people who believe that the election was rigged. How do you begin to deprogram them?
Once we educate them, we coach them on how to interact and empower the person to start thinking for themselves.
I think a lot of people are going to have to be deprogrammed.
We had a program addressing white supremacists, that we had programs, federal programs, that went towards funding organizations like these that de-radicalized people. And President Trump pulled the plug on federal funding for some of these programs. And so one thing that we know is that we have to get that funding right back up, and we probably need to double, triple, quadruple, or increase funding for these de-radicalization programs.
We can look to history, though. What ultimately breaks that power structure in the South is enforcement, right? There has to be consequences.
David Atkins is a DNC member, as you said. He's also the leader of the California Democrats. And he is suggesting that over half our country needs to be reprogrammed. Not just 75 million people that voted for Trump, but the conservatives in this country.
A Bernie Sanders staffer was caught on undercover camera saying that Trump voters should be sent to re-education camps.
What are we going to do with those people that resist the change? Because that's a big deal.
Well, I'll tell you what. In Cuba, what do they do to reactionaries?
They shot them on the beach.
Anyone Biden wins, you go through all the Republican voters, and Homeland Security will take the children. How about that? And we'll put them into re-education camps.
Amen.
They felt that this counter-revolution could best be guarded against by creating and establishing re-education centers in the Southwest, where we would take all the people who needed to be re-educated into the new way of thinking and teach them how things were going to be. I ask, well, what is going to happen to those people that we can't re-educate, that are die-hard capitalists? And the reply was that they'd have to be eliminated. And when I pursued this further, they estimated that they would have to eliminate 25 million people in these re-education centers. And when I say eliminate, I mean kill. 25 million people.
So part of it is we have to break through our kind of private idea that kids belong to their parents or kids belong to their families, and recognize that kids belong to whole communities. Once it's everybody's responsibility and not just the households, then we start making better investments.
I have decided we really need camps for adults. And we need the kind of camps that you all run. I mean, really.
The bottom line is all of America needs programming because we've all been negatively influenced by Donald Trump.